Alright guys, I'm back with another video. This is kind of an interesting one. So you got your highlight tank, you're injecting your CO2, you're dosing every day, and you're doing your weekly water changes. Well, what happens when you don't, right? Sometimes you go on vacation, sometimes life gets busy. You know, I've got the system set up here so that the pH will always sort of regulate itself. It's got a pH probe, it's on the timers. The lights are on the timers. The only thing that I really have to do here is add the fertilizer every day. So, you know, just work nights. Christmas is coming. The tank is kind of overgrown a little bit. I went in there, cleaned it out, and I mustn't have dosed fertilizers for, I don't know, 2 weeks, two and a half weeks. I think I got one water change during that time. I really didn't play with it, and what was the results of that? So the growth was still very aggressive. Every plant was growing out of control as usual. But what I've noticed is you actually get to see the signs of nutrient deficiencies in the plants. Not per se a nutrient deficiency per se, but look at this tiger lotus. You can see that some of the newer newer leaves, the bigger ones on top, are much redder than those ones, the new ones down there. Those are fairly green. So the more potassium you dose in there on a regular basis, the redder those go. So you can absolutely see the results of not dosing that tiger lotus right there. These little guys on the bottom, really haven't noticed much of a difference there. This bulb plant, not really sure what it is doing very well back there. No signs of deficiencies there. Those are fairly easy plants to keep. I believe it's Wendy that you're looking at right in the middle of the screen now. Sorry, I got an itch on my nose. You definitely see it here. Let me find a good example and I'll show you. I've taken some of them out. You can see in some of the leaves right off the middle of the spine there, you can see some color differences. You'll see like a very sort of deep green. I don't know if you can see that in there. Just keep watching any of those leaves. You'll see the color differences show up. They're not just like a deep brown color like they usually are. They've got that kind of weird pattern on some of the leaves. Probably in the bottom left corner now you see that new shoot. It's fairly low. If you look at any of the bigger ones, you can start to see differences along the stem. Some of the best examples I pulled out, and this was kind of an afterthought. You know, hey, why don't I show what it looks like if you kind of walk away from your tank for a little while. You'll also see little bits here on this tiger lotus that it's not grown as well as it has in the past. There's another great example there. But yeah, I mean, the tank is still pearling. You can still see it fizzing. Does the same thing every night. Java moss doesn't care. It's like honey badger, just doesn't care. Just keeps on growing and growing. The big hole back there was where the sword was. I noticed the sword didn't exactly like it as well, even though it was basically growing out of the tank. I have back here, and I've shown you in another video, a lace plant, Madagascar lace plant. There it is, back left there. That thing did absolutely zero growth during the period with no fertilizer. Since I've moved it from this bottom corner here to where the sword was, within 2 days of fertilizing and moving it into a better light spot, that leaf has just popped up. I'm looking at about 1/2 inch to 1 inch of growth on that per day, so it's very, very aggressive. You can see here, that's my drop checker. I found another one in my basement, so I added another one over here. And the reason was that is I really wanted to see what kind of CO2 movement I had moving around the tank. So in this case, it's been very constant throughout. There are slightly different levels. So from halfway up the tank to, you know, almost at the bottom there, the CO2 level is pretty constant. So there you guys have it. That's what happens when you don't look after your tank. No more real hair algae. It seems to be okay, but you know, it just doesn't look as nice as it should. And you'll probably find that with any plants that are red, you'll notice that you know, you won't really get that strong red color into them. They'll start to fade a little bit, and there's no way to recover those plants, those particular leaves. You just have to kind of trim them back a little bit, like I did in the middle there, and the new growth will come in strong with the vibrant colors that you see when you dose. I guess the other thing that I should mention is if you kind of walk away a little bit, you get buildups in your tank. So whatever nutrients your tank is using, you're going to notice that you know, the tank will use those up, and then you get spikes in other nutrients. So you get a really weird imbalance of your nutrients and your water chemistry. The other thing too is I've noticed that since it's getting a little bit dry now, I'm noticing that I'm having to probably add about an inch of water every 3 days to the top of the tank. It's an open tank up here, as you can see. We get a lot of moisture in the house because of it, which is nice. The humidifier doesn't have to come on as much. There's a great example of a purling plant there. But the other thing there is because I'm adding water all the time, I'm getting concentrations of, or increasing the concentrations of the stuff that makes the water hard. I guess it would be calcium. Could be wrong there, but the GH and the KH will also shift as well. So that also affects on how much CO2 you need in your tank. So, you know, a couple water changes after, you know, you get back on track, and it should restore that to what, you know, the tank should be at, GH and KH. Fish, I've found, really don't like that. That is where you're going to get some fish loss. I unfortunately lost one of my big angels due to exactly that. So bottom line is, stay on top of your water changes. Keep doing them every week, particularly if you are using the EI dosing method. That's the estimated index. But it is okay to walk away and to go hands off a little bit. Just make sure when you come back, plenty of water changes, restore everything back to the natural balance, and away you go. Hopefully you liked the video. Like it if you do, and I'll keep them coming. So until next time.